Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to Science Sins, the show that is in no way affiliated with any other similar show. I'm Alaric, professional chemistry man.
And I'm Nick, professional physics man. We're gonna put our heads together for biology, baby. Woo!
We're going to be looking at The Martian, a movie commonly praised for its scientific accuracy, but we'll see about that.
The storm that forced the crew off-world looks bad, but let's see just how bad. Remember when the crew says 86,000 newtons? That sounds like a lot of newtons, right? But first, let's convert the newtons to pounds per square feet. And when we do that, it's 1,720. With that, we can find the miles per hour of the wind, which was 41.47285.
Wow, so that's believable, right? Not exactly. Because stuff was breaking, shear stress was in play. To convert, we use miles per hour and an atmospheric density constant. Earth's constant is 1.293 kilograms per cubic meter. Mars's atmosphere is way thinner. Their constant is 0.02 kilograms per cubic meter. Multiplying this constant by the wind speed squared, we get 34.3999. What's that mean? Well, this looks as bad as a Category 5 hurricane on screen, which was the intention of the producers. But let's look at the sheer stress of a devastating hurricane like this one was meant to be. 157 miles per hour. With an atmospheric constant of 1.293 on Earth, we get 31871.157, which makes the storm on Mars 0.001 times as strong. It would feel like a gentle Martian breeze. Andy Weir, the creator of the story, even acknowledged this goof.
Watney lives through the fraudulent storm, but needs to make enough food to survive and to rescue. But don't worry, guys. He's a botanist. His solution for food is growing potatoes in Martian soil in a little greenhouse in the Hab. He also decides to include a human fecal slurry to the mix, which somehow is enough.
On the surface, this makes sense. Plants need nitrogen-fixing bacteria to have nitrogen for proteins, nucleic acids, and so on. Two major nitrogen-fixing bacterial strains are Azotobacter and Rhizobium, neither of which are in human poop. So even if the bacteria weren't killed from being vacuum sealed, even if they weren't killed by Mars's negative 81 degree Fahrenheit surface temperature, even if they weren't killed by the toxic perchlorate molecules in the Martian soil Watney used, they still wouldn't be able to nitrogen fix, and Watney would die. And even if the Ares 3 crew had some weird and extremely lucky random mutations in their digestive bacteria that allowed nitrogen fixation to happen, Watney would still die of type 2 diabetes, because you can't just eat potatoes.
Rip the homie.
Fair warning, this little section makes me legitimately mad. Away from the Hab is a plutonium-238 core. It is buried 4 kilometers away because, on the Martian wiki, I quote, to make sure people don't go close to it and avoid getting any type of cancer. In fact, in the movie, Watney even says, if I remember my training correctly, one of the lessons was, don't dig up the big blocks of plutonium, Mark. He uses this to heat his rover. What's that warmth? Oh, it's just a warm and fuzzy feeling of your intestinal lining being lacerated by alpha particles and potentially cancer causing mutations being induced in the rest of your cells. The less time you spend around this thing, the lower the probability that one of those mutations will be a real cancerous problem, of course. But Mark sits in front of this thing for 123 days. 123 souls. That's 23 souls to get Pathfinder and another 100 on his trip to the Schiaparelli crater. But of course he's fine, because the plot needed to happen. I'm putting 20 sins for that.
Calm down, Alaric.
And I'm not even done. In a pitiful attempt to look even sciencey-er, Watney wraps the plutonium core in gold foil, a reference to the Rutherford experiment. And in the Rutherford experiment, a few alpha particles are reflected by the gold leaf, but as we can see in the figure, keyword being some. So many get through. He could have given himself a more curable cancer just by walking through a mushroom cloud. That's another 10 sins.
Well, that about wraps it up for the inaccuracies that would actually affect the plot. Sometimes they forgot Mars has less gravity than Earth, so that's a few sins. But that's inconsequential to the plot. So that doesn't really get its own rant. Now to subtract sins for the cool things the Martian got right.
You can synthesize water with hydrazine. It really does take that long to fly to Mars. Sometimes they got the gravity right.
Yeah, disco music really, really, really sucks. It's just the truth. It's just the truth.